Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to TMOF Wrestling. We are here today again to do episode 2 of the tier list for WWE Video Games.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Yeah. So, your hosts today.
It's me, Ash.
And I'm Russ. So, this is episode 2. We've got 10 more coming up. We did 10 before in the last episode. I'm pretty psyched to go through. Do you want to run down the tiers?
Yeah. First tier, the best in the world, which is the number 1.
Tip top.
Number 2 is the B+ player, which is good, close to perfect, close to...
It's a nice little spot, that.
Yeah. Glass ceiling, which is the middle of our tier list. So that's basically good, not bad, not good, sort of in the middle.
Hard to break it.
Yeah, literally. And then we got what?
What?
Which is...
What?
How would you describe what?
What? That's how I describe it. You just say it after you finish every sentence.
So basically every glitch, you go,
What?
And for the worst of the worst, it's delete them.
Delete them. Yes, that is what we've got. So you can see there are 10 there already. If you would like to go and watch our episode 1, where we did place those, by all means, feel free to do so. We would bloody love that, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah.
So, I can hear a big pop of pump. So, the we're waiting for that to go. I need to address something. It's almost a retcon, but not really a retcon, because we'll leave it where it is.
Well, what's wrong?
Episode 1, Ash.
Yeah.
We came to WWF Superstar, so not the Game Boy version, but the arcade one.
Oh, okay.
I got a bit confused because I was like, yeah, no, I've played that. And then I was asking in the first one about, like, well, what ports was it on? He was like, no, it was just an arcade one. And I got really confused. Turns out that is not the one I played. So, we're going to kick things off straight away with the one I have actually played.
Oh.
Let's bring it up.
Bring it. Well, no, that's later.
This was the one I was actually thinking of. This took some time. WWF European Rampage Tour. So, What do we know about this one?
It was released in 1992. It was on Amiga, Atari ST, and Commodore 64.
Yes. And so that would explain how I ended up playing it. Because I can assure you I did not own any wrestling arcade machines, even though I wish I actually did.
Yeah, how much money did you have as you were a kid?
50p. It's nothing now. Can't even buy a Freddo.
No?
We can. Didn't get much change.
Not anymore, no.
So, WWF European Rampage is the one I was thinking of. I mean, a lot of the games from this era, they are very sort of similar in terms of how they look.
True.
It's probably a bit of a giveaway where I'm probably going to put this, because matching obviously where Superstars went, the arcade one. But in terms of sort of what we know about it, do we know sort of, because it was released in 92.
Yes.
What was a sort of, because I played a bit of this, but it wasn't mine. I didn't own any of those previously aforementioned consoles. So the Commodore 64 I'd have to play around other people's house.
Yeah.
And Atari. But then I was very much starting into video games in Mega Drive, and then fast forwarding into like N64 and PlayStation era. So I kind of missed that original gap to like have it myself.
True. Sure. I know how you feel.
Yeah. But what's the sort of like overall sort of perception of this game?
Right. So 1 or 2 players form a tag team, choosing from Hogan, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and Bret Hart, and they must defeat teams of the Nasty Boys, Natural Disaster, and Money Inc. And it's in multiple European venues. So it's one in London, one in Munich, one in Paris, and but the funny thing is, the championship bout is against Legion of Doom in Madison Square Garden. So it's not basically all European.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing on it, but I suppose, they just put Madison Square Garden in because it is the most famous arena in the world. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of where we'd place this, so because you haven't played this one.
I never played it.
I have played it, but obviously didn't remember enough of it to remember what bloody game it was.
Yeah.
So, in terms of where we'd put it, okay, what we'd probably do, we'll put it in the glass ceiling. We'll say that's going to go sort of before Superstars. We'll probably work out the the proper order of things at the end, because this list is going to get very full very quick.
Oh, definitely.
As each episode goes on, so that's going to be pretty finicky trying to sort all of those out as we keep adding. And I feel there's going to be a lot added into that glass ceiling.
I would say that it has seemingly got good reviews and how it worked.
Good.
So,
all right, yeah, glass ceiling.
I'll take that.
What have we got coming up next?
Our next game, WWE 13.
I like this one a lot, actually.
Was it the last WWE before it was 2K? It was, wasn't it?
Last one before, well, kind of, because 2K14 obviously came after this, but 2K14 wasn't like official 2K. So 2K didn't really like fully take the reins until 2K15, and then you're into like the next gen era stuff like PS4 and Xbox One. But this one was one of the ones that was kind of like post SmackDown versus Raw series, but there was only really two, because you had WWE 12 and then this one.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of into that sort of beginning of 2K era. So this one, though, I mean, brought back the Attitude era.
Well, not all of it.
Not all of it, but to the best that it could. It had Mike Tyson as I think DLC, or you were knocked him in game?
DLC, I believe.
And was Arnie in this one as well? Or
that was later.
That was later. Okay,
16, I think.
Okay.
I might be wrong.
What do I know? But yeah, no, I liked this one a lot. So this is THQ's...
Yeah, the last THQ before...
Last one, yeah.
2K took over. It's end of an era, mate.
We do miss... It was, genuinely end of an era. Missed THQ a lot, but I would imagine this game did pretty well. So this came out in... Was it October 2012? It would have been?
So America, October, and then the rest of us got it in a few days later in the 2nd of November.
Okay. Yeah, this was good. And Punk, obviously, as you can see, was like tip-top of the... Well, technically tip-top of the card at this point, but, with all the other stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
So, this would have been nearish to the end of his year-long reign. Around the year mark.
Yeah, so because obviously moving into 2013 would have been dropping it to The Rock. And yeah, so it's before his heel turn, basically. Yeah, I liked this. I think the story mode was good with the Attitude Era stuff. It made the exhibition matches like a lot more interesting, gave a lot more diversity to the roster. I imagine it did pretty well. Yeah,
it was even nominated for some awards.
Okay.
It was nominated for Best Individual Sports Game at the 2012 Spike Video Game Awards.
Wow.
Lost at SSX. That shows you how long.
SSX, though, can't go wrong with that. Was this the first one with the Universe mode, or is that...
Second, I think.
So Universe mode debuted 2012.
WW12.
Wow. Where would you put this? I think this is going to go in the top tiers.
I'd say B+, personally.
I think B+. I think the only thing that stops it going in best in the world was that although the roster was very good and it did feel a bit more refreshing, it wasn't... It's hard because it's THQ's it's their swan song.
Yeah.
In effect, but they had better games than WWE 13. This was still really enjoyable, but I think the glory days were kind of gone at this point.
Yeah, I think you could tell.
Yeah.
But one of the I think it was the last game to involve a special referee. Oh no, hang on. It was the first one to bring back special referee since 2007.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure, because there was a big gap and then now there's been another big gap. So I don't think you can do special referee these days either. But
no.
But, who wants a special referee?
Well, they use it a lot in the Attitude Era, so...
We don't need special referees. All we need is Charles Robinson, and we're good.
Yeah, it does say that Paul Heyman did help out in Universe mode. He did make it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. All right, then, yeah, I think that's fair. Would it go before or after SmackDown?
After.
Just because SmackDown's the only B+ in there.
I'd say after.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But isn't it bad that a game featuring CM Punk is not best in the world? Front cover like this. Don't have a go at us.
That is, yeah. No, we don't make the rules
until Shimmer Man is on the front cover of a WWE game. Then yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen now, but.
So what have we got coming up next?
WWE Mayhem on Android and iOS.
WWE Mayhem. Wow, this I mean, it's only in here because we said we'd do every WWE video game. I don't know much about it. I think it's one of those, like a Candy Crush, was it?
Well, from the trailer, it looks like All Stars but shortened down.
All Stars but shortened
down. But with loot boxes.
So how do you actually... what's the combat like? The actual gameplay itself, like
I
how...
have no idea because I've never played it. But I've only seen...
I hate these ones because there's not really any way of us being able to properly be able to rank this, because I don't want to rank it too low because we've not played it and the idea sounds silly because we don't know much about it. But also, you know, I don't want to rate it too high because we don't know much about it.
But like I said, it looks like All Stars, but they're shrunk down to like miniature size, a bit like Battleground.
Okay,
that's what it looks like.
You burp on camera. Yeah, maybe this wasn't the one I was thinking of then, because I there is definitely one or two that are like the Candy Crush thing, but this one, yeah, aesthetics are completely different, aren't they? So I don't know.
It's got a lot of good stuff said about it, and
there's some quite high ratings for it.
Getting a lot of, and it looks like just a regular game on mobile, but I've never played it. I probably will look for it after we've recorded.
This is difficult, so I'm gonna kind of go back on. Well, not go back on something I said last episode, but for this one, because it does seem to be really well received, and we don't know much about it, we're gonna have to put it in glass ceiling.
Sure.
Maybe we retcon it if we do play it before the next episode. But to be honest, most of the mobile games outside of Supercard, mobile gaming is very different. It's not gaming, is it?
Not really.
It
like I said, it looks like it does look like All Stars, but it looks entertaining.
Yeah, and that's what you want, I suppose, isn't it, out of a game? But yeah, in terms of gaming, I don't know. You'd have to rate that very differently to the rest, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if anyone was watching this has played it, let us know.
Yeah, please do. Comment below if you have played it, and if you think that should be higher or lower, then go to Bruce Forsyth. Right, what have we got coming up next?
Now, this is a classic for me anyway. WWF Attitude.
Oh,
come on.
WWF Attitude is a weird one, because there's a couple of different ways to look at this as well. It's had a few different ports, so it's obviously the N64, which is up on the screen.
Yep.
The PlayStation 1.
It was on Dreamcast, I didn't know that.
It was on Dreamcast.
Also, it was on Game Boy Color.
Well, so the Game Boy Color is, again, this is the same thing. Completely different game. It plays different and it looks different. There's no... I think the Dreamcast...
Well, game ranking has Dreamcast at 59%, Game Boy Color 62%, N64 is 74%, and PlayStation 79%. So
I'm surprised at the Game Boy Color one. So this is what it looks like on Game Boy Color. As you can see, we'll bring this up on the screen for everybody. That is WWF Attitude on the Game Boy Color.
Bloody hell.
And that is nothing like what it actually... What the actual game is like on the other ported console. So very, very strange. But based on that, because that I would rate probably low.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're going to have to just go by WWF Attitude. The main ports, there wasn't massive differences from my knowledge between like N64 and PlayStation, Dreamcast. I don't know. I think there was some issues with the Dreamcast one.
It might have been.
But I think it was technically ran a bit better on the 64. On the N64, supposedly, is I think what I'd sort of seen about that. But my main interaction with it was on the PlayStation.
Same, yeah.
And I did enjoy it, but it is one of those where when you go back to it,
it's hard to play it nowadays.
Nostalgia's there for sure.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good game.
No, it's not aged well.
No.
But I still liked it. It was one of the... That and Warzone were Because it's basically the same game.
Well, this came after Warzone, or was it before? So when did this one come out?
This came out in 1999.
99.
It was going to come out in June, but it was because Owen Hart's death delayed it.
Okay. You'd think they'd have perfected bits of Warzone in this one, but like you said, it is effectively the same game. And Acclaim Sports did a series of these, because obviously with the ECW, what was it, for the Revolution or something, was it?
Oh,
Hardcore Revolution?
Hardcore Revolution and Anarchy Rules.
And Anarchy Rules, yeah. So...
Yeah, we're not doing those, by the way. If you want us to, we probably will, but we'll...
I won't.
I've got it somewhere.
Oh my God. Mind you, I have got WCW Backstage Brawls for some reason. I don't know why. But quality game. I think we got to be realistic with it. I have got nostalgia for it, 100%. But...
Because if we did this 20 years ago, I would have it probably B+.
Well, that's the thing with these lists, isn't it? We don't know what... like where technology is now compared to what it was there. But you have to put it up maybe against what things for its time, like we did with Micro League.
Yeah.
For its time, Micro League actually probably isn't really that great. We've probably been generous putting that in what, but I think Attitude probably goes... I'd be willing to stretch a glass ceiling, but I really don't think it goes any higher than that.
Nah. If we could move it, it'd be middle glass ceiling.
It'd be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it deserves to be any higher than that. No. There is nostalgia for it, but...
The things they got right were, before every match, the wrestler would cut a little 5-second promo. And it'd be their voices.
Yeah.
Do
you remember what some of them went like?
Probably not.
I remember a lot of them being quite quotable, but I can't remember what was actually said for each one. I'm sure some of them were just grunting.
I think Kane had his...
Is it the voice box?
The voice box, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
But commentary by Jerry King, Lawler and Shemmer, man, that doesn't feel Attitude to me.
Well, they just got what they could take, wouldn't they? Take what they could get. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And yeah, this was the last Owen game on WWE.
Wow. Oh, that's an interesting fact.
Because obviously with what happened
with what happened, and then Martha had... Yeah.
And it's going to be in the new AEW game, so it's going to be a long time.
That'll be his first time appearing in a wrestling video game since then, 1999.
I mean, the game is dedicated to Owen. But that's as far as...
But obviously everything came out afterwards, so, you know. But yeah. Okay, right, next then, King of the Ring.
Oh, I've
available on the NES and...
Game Boy.
On the Game Boy. So again, this is going to have different sort of variations to it, isn't it? Because I can't imagine the Game Boy would have been the same sort of gameplay as the NES. So, but what have you got on it?
Well, the NES version had 11 wrestlers, which is an odd number. Really.
Yeah, I suppose it is really, yeah.
Yeah. You have Hogan, Savage, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon.
Okay.
Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, Mr. Perfect, the Narcissist Lex Luger, and you, a generic wrestler that can be named and have attributes given to them. But in the Game Boy version, there's no Undertaker or Bam Bam.
Okay. What, in the Game Boy?
Yeah, in the Game Boy, yeah.
So there is some differences. Having a look, actually, it doesn't look like there's massive difference between the aesthetics of it. No. But, and again, this is the NES.
Yeah.
It is the NES, and that's like... Because this came out in 90...
November 93 on the SNES and the Game Boy.
And it's an LJN, isn't it?
Yes.
So... Yeah, not really much in the way hands-on experience for that one. It is something potentially I'd have picked up, but again, looking at it, it wouldn't stack up today. So this one would have to put out to what the public thinks, really. What do the public think?
Critical response, Electric Gaming Monthly gave the review 8.66, 7 out of 10.
So that's for at the time.
Yeah. GameSpot give it 6.5 out of 10. So it's
I wonder what the actual reviews, because I mean you've got to. Sometimes the critic reviews are so different to the consumer.
Yeah.
So this was, what was it, 96?
93.
93.
But I would check. I'd put game first instead of the pay-per-view because
yeah,
it was the same year. This the first King of the Ring pay-per-view.
So it does say. I mean, it does seem to be quite well liked.
Mixed. Well,
I think everything's going to have mixed reviews, but then there's some here that give it 1 star. But then, without context, that's difficult to kind of read into that, because if you've gone into it expecting 2K22 graphics and you've seen that, you're going to be disappointed. But also, I don't know why you'd have been expecting 2K22 graphics. But it says on here, I mean, somebody has left a review saying that the graphics are wonderful for the Nintendo system. So, again, but product of the time. Maybe we should be generous with that one. Because we got... we're no place to say bad things about it, are we?
No. So what, no glass ceiling?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But we don't... Well,
it's probably going to be higher end. This actually does have quite a lot of good, positive things being said about it. But, yeah, it'd be somewhere at the top. Yeah. As we say, folks, we'll sort the list out. It's going to get very busy on there. And I think we predicted that middle tier was going to get very busy, but... yeah, I think that's probably fair enough. Based on what we know, which isn't very much about this game. So based on what we know, that's where it goes. What is next? Number 16.
Next is...
know your role and shut your mouth.
No, that comes later.
That is actually coming later.
WWF SmackDown. Just bring it, as Michael Cole said in the intro.
The Rock is great. This game is the first one from THQ for the PlayStation 2. Yep. It's the first WWF, to my knowledge, the first licensed WWF game for PlayStation 2. The last title WWF game before they turned to WWE. Yeah. With the SmackDown series. I don't know if any more came after Just Bring It, though. I mean, well, all of that aside anyway, Just Bring It. You could, 8 men. You didn't have that for a while.
No, it was the last 8 men until 2K18.
You could bring Mr. Moppy, Mr. Moppy?
Just
the
Moppy,
Mop, the Moppy.
Yeah,
Mr. Moppy. Yeah. I'm just very polite. He's Mr. Moppy to me.
Was he Mr. though? Who knows?
Who knows? I shouldn't have assumed. So, yeah, but you could get Moppy from the crowd. People, I do see people by and large kind of hate on this game. I've got a lot of, kind of like Attitude, I've got a lot of fun memories from it, but I do think it holds up better than WWF Attitude does.
The only problem I have is its 3-match career.
Yeah. That is, yeah.
Or if you were a champion, you would have 1 match.
It doesn't have the longevity that some of the other ones do.
No.
But the commentary in this is outstanding. It's brilliant, and it's worth a laugh every time you hear it.
Oh, and Fred Durst is in the game, so that makes it even better.
So we put it at the top.
I think I'd go for B+.
I'd go for B. Honestly, I would go for B+.
I mean, it's not my favourite of the SmackDown series.
No,
but it's
before we get to SmackDown versus Raw. No,
yeah,
pretty obvious. I think what the favourite's going to be. But following this one though was the next year THQ did bring out
Shut Your Mouth.
Shut Your Mouth. I love this one even more.
I love this one.
Graphics were polished. They were better polished and more refined than Just Bring It. Which again, that's not to knock on Just Bring It. It was a debut for a new console and a new generation. So Shut Your Mouth though was definitely more refined. The season mode, as you say, what was lacking in Just Bring It was much better in this.
I think it's possibly the best they ever did.
It's easily one of. That's a whole other conversation, I think, because that's difficult. But this is definitely one of. You could, being backstage, you'd run around, you'd run to all these different backstage areas, try and talk to people, go to the GM office.
Yeah, snow. There
was snow.
You could throw snowballs. That was amazing.
Climbing the SmackDown fist.
Was this the first one with Slobberknocker mode? Or was that?
I think
Just
Slobber
Bring It?
Knocker mode was on Just Bring It, yeah. But
No.
this had a lot of stuff, had a good roster, and even at the beginning, it was GM mode before GM mode existed, technically,
Yeah,
because
you
you
could
would
do
choose
the
who was on
draft,
each, with the draft. Really fun time playing this one. So again, THQ, 2002, was it 2002 this one? Yeah.
This was, like October, November 2002.
Man. And it's the last one really, like, because the SmackDown series was like all about The Rock. You know, you had the first two for PlayStation 1, which was the Know Your Roles. Then you had to Just Bring It and Shut Your Mouth. They're all Rock catchphrases. When we get to the next year's instalment of Here Comes the Pain, we've moved into Brock Lesnar. So this is also the last one that was kind of, you know, where The Rock was the sort of centerpiece of it.
Yeah.
From the SmackDown series, at least, anyway. But where would you put this one?
Whoa, if it's possible, I'd put it between Best in the World and B+. But I'd go for Best in the World.
I'd agree. Honestly, I would.
And another reason why it's one of the best of all time is you could go on Undertaker's bike.
You could. I would, with what's up there right now, with SmackDown 2 and Supercard, I would put that above both. And I do love SmackDown 2.
I'd say middle, but I don't...
Well, if you want to go middle, but I would play Shut Your Mouth more than SmackDown 2, I think. But it's difficult because, you know, you can like multiple things. So you can do what you bloody want. But no, I love that game.
It's the 44th highest selling PS2 game.
Oh, wow. What, out of all PS2 games?
Hang on. Maybe that.
Because I don't know, because that's a PS2 was a
it's the 45th highest selling game launched for the PS2, Xbox, or GameCube between 2003 and 2008 in that country.
Well, it was a PS2 exclusive, wasn't it? Same as Just Bring It. So they weren't released on any other consoles.
And
these ones.
I mean, the commentary's not as good.
Oh, it's not as memorable as Just Bring It, but it's brilliant. And this is when you still had the cool, funky music playing during your matches.
Yeah.
Great game. I think definitely deserves to be in the top tier. Best in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what doesn't deserve to be in best in the world?
What's that?
WWE Aftershock.
No.
1 to 2 players. Released for the Nokia N-Gage, I believe. It wasn't on anything else, was it?
No.
So, got to remember though, once upon a time, back in the day, mobiles were not what they are now. So you didn't have your apps, so you could download virtually anything. You know, games. This was probably a ambitious attempt to capitalise on the growing technology of phones at the time, because phones were starting to evolve at this point, but again, they're nowhere near what they are now. Touchscreen still isn't really a thing, is it, at this point?
I wouldn't think so, no.
When did this come out?
Mid 2005.
2005. And when did that... So, because the first thing I remember really being like properly touchscring that was successful was like the Nintendo DS. So this wasn't even that, was it?
2 years later, the DS?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit less than that.
The problem with this is I think it tried to play like a normal wrestling game. It tried to do, you know, you would have to hit your moves and things like that. But again, it suffers what a lot of these ones do for a handheld, which is a minimal roster.
12 people.
Right. And just lacking in any depth or any...
Well...
Any enjoyment, really. It's not something you go back to.
It has what? A King of the Ring, tag team, survival. Probably 1-1, I don't know.
It's not good. It's not good. It's probably got some fans out there, but...
I never heard about this game until about 2-3 years ago.
I had always... Again, I was never fortunate enough, really, to have like the nice phones that were coming out as they were coming out once upon a time. So this was one of those where like your friends at school, they'd have it and then you would just have to sit around watch and play it. And then I would play it. I've got to be honest, at the time, of course it is, because when you're a kid, like, and you love wrestling, anything you can get your hands on wrestling related, like you're going to love it anyway.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, looking at this again recently, it's just bloody awful. It's got to go. For me, honestly, it goes into deleting.
Well,
I've got to be honest.
The Metacritic is 53 out of 100. GameSpot 3.2. 5.3 out of 10. GameSpy is 3 out of 5, and IGN's 5 out of 10. So I think it's probably fair.
If you think it should go into what, there's an argument probably to be made.
I've only heard bad stuff though, and I've barely heard about it, so don't delete them.
Delete him. It's a shame. Because again, there's nothing. It's good to try new things, but this was a failed experiment, and evident in the fact that they never did anything again.
Well, I don't think Engaged lasted that long.
Well, yeah, I suppose the Engage itself was an experiment in and of itself, wasn't it? So, but yeah, no, it's a shame, but there we are. What have we got coming up? Steel Cage Challenge.
WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge.
Yes. I do. This was all right from what I remember playing it, but does it stack up today, Ash?
I don't have a clue because once again, it's one of these games that even though I had the Mega Drive, with the Mega Drive it was on.
So it's a Sega release from 1980. No, it'll be 1992, I think, isn't it?
It is
92.
It came out on the NES in 92, the Master System in 93, Game Gear in 93, and it was a TV game not too long ago in 2018.
Well, I've got to be honest for this one. There's not really much more to say. It does fall into the same bracket as a lot of the other games from that era. I think it is glass ceiling. Because it's all right. It is okay for what it is, but it doesn't break the glass ceiling.
But it looks like every other game around that time.
That's the thing. It goes sort of bottom end of glass ceiling for me.
Let's see this.
But it was all right. The glass. When you look at the glass ceiling at the minute, I know that's not in a particular order now, but
no.
When you really look at the glass ceiling, there's some good stuff there. There's stuff there that I would play, and I think that's the best way to look at it. It's enjoyable enough, but you wouldn't go out of your way to play it. And I think that's what WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge is. I'd enjoy playing it. I wouldn't go out of my way to play it.
I tell you what, the roster looks good.
I think the roster was... I did read up, I think what the roster was probably one of the improvements of games at that time.
There's Hogan, Bret...
Because you've gone from because some of them have been a roster of 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, and this is Bret Hart, Hogan, IRS, Jake Roberts, Mountie, Papa Shango,
The Mountie, man, yeah.
Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Shawn Michaels, Sid Justice, Tatanka, Ted DiBiase, Ultimate Warrior, and Undertaker.
Yeah.
Only a few of them are in all 3 versions.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with it because you see that the Game Gear was missing a lot, and I think the NES was missing a lot as well. The only ones to appear on all of them was looking at this is Bret Hart, IRS.
Randy Savage,
Ted DiBiase, and Ultimate Warrior. Undertaker, sorry. So,
Ultimate Warrior is only on the TV game, and so is Razor Ramon, which...
There you go. Well, the end of the list today is one of my personal favourites, but I think we disagree on this, so this is going to be a very interesting one to end on. WWE SmackDown versus Raw, the very first one, the one with old Vincent Kennedy McMahon's face on with his multicolored eyes.
Yeah, it's trying to be an Invasion 2001 pay-per-view poster, but it doesn't work with one person.
So this is the first of the SmackDown versus Raw series, released in 2004.
Yes.
This, before we kind of argue, because it's coming, you got to agree, the soundtrack for this was the first time.
Yeah, this is how
it brought a wrestling soundtrack for video gaming.
Yeah, it's like how we discovered Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, Breaking Benjamin. You had Zebra Head on there.
Yeah. Really
good song on there that's so difficult because I think the lead singer had passed away, but Pre-Thing is the name of the band, and Can't Stop was the song.
I need to listen to the soundtrack again.
Really good, man, but you won't find that sort of stuff because it was just one album they released. That was a song used on there, but anyway, good.
The only problem with the soundtrack was it did have, and these are good songs, but When Worlds Collide and
Powerman 5000 though.
But it was, it's been played on a lot.
I think because by that point, I mean that song was already. That's from the 90s, isn't it?
Bring the Noise also was on it. Which, I mean, I didn't know.
That's not really different from games now. You get songs that are old now in games.
But it felt like a little bit like they've taken Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 out of
Yeah, he had a bit of similar. That's maybe why I liked it because the Tony Hawk's games are a similar thing with the soundtrack. But
was that on 2? It doesn't matter.
The game though, like, what don't you like about this? Because I thought this was a really good. I thought this was a step in the right direction. But at the same time, it did follow Here Comes the Pain. I know we haven't had Here Comes the Pain come up yet, but it's not, it's not really a spoiler. Here Comes the Pain is going to be ranking very high. It was a very, very good game.
Oh, definitely.
So for this to follow it was always going to be really difficult, but I think
that's why
it did the best it could.
I think that's probably why I'm not a massive fan of it, but it's it has some good things, like we said, the soundtrack. It's the first game to feature voice acting by wrestlers, apart from your character.
And the season mode benefited because of that.
Yeah, Kurt Angle as a GM, which is unfair because I'd rather been Kurt Angle as a wrestler.
I think you always remember the season mode starting up on SmackDown versus Raw, and I think it's always usually, was it Rene Dupree comes up, or
yeah, it's been Rene Dupree on SmackDown.
It's something to do with, like, I think just because you're picking a manager.
Well, that was it. Either you challenge for titles or you challenge for women.
That's
a problem nowadays, I'd say. Trying to win all the women to be your manager.
But again, product of the times. So
yeah, you don't get matches where, I think it was at Mania, weren't it? If you were chasing women, I think the main event in the WrestleMania for the women was a bra panties ladder match.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
But that's
first game to have bra and panties match in, I believe, as well.
I think so. Didn't it have
the pinnacle of sports entertainment?
And it was the first one where they did challenges.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I think some of them screwed me over when I played it back in the day.
That's why you don't like it, innit? That's why he doesn't like it.
Every time I was Rey Mysterio and beat Big Show in 3 minutes, it never said I did it.
That's why he doesn't like it.
Probably because I didn't do it in the right difficulty.
You can't. I don't think, though, you could say this was a bad game.
No,
I'd be happy to say it wasn't as good as Shut Your Mouth.
No.
But I don't think it goes below B+ player. I think it's got to go B+ player.
I'd say B+ player.
All right, then.
But I'd put it probably between W13 and Just Bring It.
Yeah. That's what I wait. I mean, I don't know. I'd go probably between 13 and first SmackDown, but that's the thing with these. Everybody's going to... I mean, these lists, they're always going to be subjective because it depends on what you look for in a game.
Looking at the reviews, they're pretty spot on with like 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
And once again, nominated for Best Fighting Game at 2004 Spike Video Game Awards, so...
It's one of those. It is one of those. Everyone's going to like different things. And when you're trying to go through every single one, we've understandably not played every one. So, of course, the list is going to be a little bit like this because we haven't played them all. But that is currently what the list looks like, Ash.
Yeah. Don't want to change it yet, do we?
Don't want to change it yet. We'll retcon it all soon.
Yeah.
But, guys, if you agree or if you disagree or anything you want to add, really anything you want to see coming up next, do comment below. Let us know what you thought. Start a conversation.
Yeah, we're happy to listen to your suggestions of what you think, and
well, particularly for the ones that we don't know much about, because it'd be good to hear from people that have actually played them.
Back in my day when I played
but no, guys, I'd say that's a wrap for us today.
Yep, that's the second episode done. Unbelievable.
See you in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below of what you thought and what you liked. And we'll see you soon. Bye.